every single week here on Fridays at 2 o'clock. You know, so often we are racing through the week and racing through to the weekend. And this is the time where we ask actors, what did they learn this week? We ask artists, what did they learn this week? We ask directors, producers, what did you learn this week? The idea is that as artists, we can be learning from one another about how we promote our work using social media. And it may be about social media, it may be about just sort of digital marketing, it may be about all kinds of stuff. So actually we have filmmaker Lauren Chiten with us today. Laurel, I'm pretty sure, Laurel and I have been like friends for the past few weeks, but I've never actually had to say her name out loud. So I'm gonna have her introduce herself when she comes on. I'm Annie Schiffman, I'm the founder of Downstage Media, and at Downstage Media, we give artists who are overwhelmed with social media. I see Laurel is already on here, ready to go. So Laurel, give me a minute, and I will have you come on. So just sit tight. But anyway, at Downstage Media, we give artists who are overwhelmed with social media a plan of what to do, so that way they can connect with their audiences. So here we go. So I'm going to start. I usually talk about things in the theater, social media space. So this week I wanted to talk about the idea of getting your audience's attention and holding on to it, and specifically on Facebook Live. So we've been looking at the numbers for our Facebook Lives for our different clients. We usually recommend that clients go live at least once a month. It kind of depends on the follower count that they have and things like that, but we like to go at least once a month. I will oftentimes host a Facebook Live for them. And so we do a lot of work with, figuring out how do you grab someone's attention right off the bat. And you know what? Here, let me actually grab something. I followed the methodology in this book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Do you know this book? If you know this book, if you've ever read this book, leave little hearts or something like that. If you haven't, it's really, really a helpful book. And so this week we learned a lot about how to grab people's attention using some of the techniques that are in that book, Building a Story Brand. I'd been playing with it a little bit, but when we really dug in and focused on what is the problem that this Facebook Live is going to solve, and how can we solve that problem quickly? How can we introduce who the expert is who's going to help usher you through? How do we give you a good plan to do that? Once all of that happened and we were able to make it all work, then it was really, we found that people were staying on the Facebook Lives even longer. So that is something that we have learned. I just got 2 random robocalls on my phone while I'm trying to do this Instagram Live, and holy smokes, is that annoying. Have you ever had that? Jeepers creepers. Anyway, but now, so it's about Facebook Lives. We're going to have more information on Facebook Lives and how you can capture your audience's attention right off the bat. Head to downstage.media/blog, and it'll be there along with all the other tips we've learned from other artists every single week. But now we're going to hear from Laurel. Here we go with Laurel. So Laura is a filmmaker. She made the film Just One Drop, and that has been distributed all around the world. Here we go. Hey, Laurel. Can you hear me? You cannot hear me. I cannot hear you. So I'm going to say, why don't you take off your earphones and unplug, and let's see if we can try that, if I can hear you that way. Okay, so I'm going to, so Laurel, try to take off your earphones.
There, try again. Oh, weird, huh? Okay,
there we go.
Good. Now I can hear you. I could hear you before, and then as soon as I came on, I went dead. Okay, hi.
Hey. So yeah, Instagram is a little bit of a diva. So, these are some of the things that happen with Instagram.
So I can see better now. Yes. So, hi.
Hi.
It's been a zooey day today. Yes.
Yes, I know. So you've got a lot going on. So thank you for taking the time here.
Yeah.
So just share with us, what is one thing that you've learned this week? Because that is the whole idea, is that artists are sharing with other artists what is working for them. So what have you found? What have you learned this week?
Well, do you mind if I expand it beyond this week? Is that okay? Is that permissible?
Are the WLTW police going to get you if you expand it from this week? I will have them stand down. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Feel free to share
okay,
with us.
because here's my story. The real brief story is that I've been making films for about 30 years, and my films went to PBS and did this and that, and I didn't really have to market them at all. And then I had a film that I was working on, and I couldn't get any funding at all for this film. And I always joke and say I got money from my alien abduction film, but I couldn't get any money for this. And so I started getting money from people and individuals. And then lo and behold, I realized as time went on that I was actually building my audience, which I didn't quite know what I was doing. And then I started understanding social media, and I really started using social media, particularly Facebook back then, to really build my tribe. So when the film was done, I sent an email to everyone, which now I had a fairly robust email list. And I said, anyone interested in showing this film when it's done? And I got 350 responses. So I distributed the film the same way I built the audience, is that it was all fan-based distribution. And I did all of that using the internet. And if it weren't for the internet, I probably wouldn't have had a film, and I certainly wouldn't have gotten it seen. So that revolutionized how I looked at filmmaking. And it dove me into the world of digital marketing, and started realizing, oh, I am actually a marketer, and I really love it. So that's the big picture of what I've learned.
So you kind of had to learn that you couldn't just be a filmmaker, right? And that you also had to do
not anymore. And so really what my big passion is now is to teach other filmmakers how to do that, and how to start marketing from the very beginning when they just first have an idea for the film.
So what is one of those key concepts? What's one of the first things, not to give away everything, but what's one of the first things that you will talk to a filmmaker about that he or she must do in order to market her film?
Well, great question. One of the biggest misconceptions that filmmakers certainly have is they promote their film. Here's my film. And first of all, they wait until the film is done, which is the huge mistake, because you have to build your whole audience from day one, as I said. But it's all about me. You know, look at my project. And we forget that it's actually about them. And to totally change the messaging so that it's really building a conversation. And the whole trend on social media now and marketing in general is that one-on-one connection. Conversation equals conversion, which is a very big difference from how we used to think about marketing. So that's a big thing, is to really start talking to them and find out what they need and what they want and what's their language. And so we know them really well. So when we make our film, we actually know who we're making it for. And
I love that. I'll often say to producers or people who are marketing the show, you know, you have to make this show seems so worthwhile. Not just, hey, this is our show, come and see it, but why should somebody get a babysitter? Why should somebody deal with parking? Why should somebody maybe come out to see your show in February when there's a possibility it might snow 8 inches and they're going to have to deal with freezing rain on the way home, right? Like, we need to really make it about why this is such a worthwhile experience for them. Not just, hey, this is my show. This is my show, or this is my movie. That's what you tell your mom and your aunt. And then everybody else, you have to give them a good reason, right?
You have to give them a reason.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So Laurel, and I know that I think I may have stumbled over your pronunciation of your last name. Will you please tell us how to pronounce your last name?
It's Chiten.
Chiten. Okay.
Yeah, everyone does that. They mess up my first name and my last name.
Oh man.
That's what I'm saying. But the biggest thing is to realize it's really, if you have a product, whether it be theater or whether it be a film, it's really, you owe it to your audience to make sure they see it, because it's made for them. And so no longer are we like shy about marketing or whatever it is we're doing, but when you see it that you're actually providing a gift and you're changing somebody's life, and you come from that perspective, I think we learn how to do it differently.
Love that. Love that. So let's end there. Now, if you have any learnings, any takeaways that you've had for the past week and you want to share them, please use the hashtag WLTW so we can find them, so we can learn from you. And when we're planning out our weeks next week, we can say, oh, well, this really worked out well for this person. I'm going to give it a try as well for me. So in the meantime, thank you so much, Laurel Chiten. And where can we check in with you? What should we be doing?
Okay, well, a few places. One is I've set up on my film website, which is I'm Blind Dog Films. I also have a section as Blind Dog Films / consulting, I think. But if you go to Blind Dog Films, you'll find me. And that's really where I'm focused on how to market to, teach filmmakers how to market their films. But also I just set up a brand new Facebook page called Make Movies, Make Money. And then there's also a Facebook group that is distribution, independent, indie distribution conversation, something like that. It's the related group to the page. So it's a brand new page. So if you have any interest, come join the page, come join the group, check out my website, blinddogfilms.com.
Excellent. And so this is all going to be there, plus what Laurel shared with us today. If you go to downstage.media/blog, you'll see the WLTW section there of everything that we've learned from Laurel Chiten today and from past artists in the past week. In the meantime, join us next Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and share with us the answer to the question, what you learned this week. Thanks so much, Laurel.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.